This episode was sponsored by Teck, a fresh take on traditional taste. Enjoy every occasion with the highest quality Chinese ingredients. Shop now at Teck online. All right, everyone, get ready because we're going deep into the world of canned abalone today. I'm James.
And I'm Georgia.
And you know her. She's a culinary whiz, so we're in for a treat.
Oh, shucks.
So we've got these Teck blog articles, 3 of them, and they're all about abalone, specifically the canned kind. Now,
Canned abalone.
yeah, I know. It doesn't exactly scream fancy feast, right? But hear me out.
Right.
Especially for Chinese New Year. It's a pretty big deal.
Huge. And honestly, you can get so creative with it. But okay, first things first.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are wondering, can you eat it straight out of the can?
Oh, that's a good question. Is it like tuna? Can you just prop the top and go for it?
You absolutely can. It's pre-cooked. It's ready to eat. But
Okay.
if you really want to make those flavors shine, cooking it is the way to go. You know, it's like taking it from like pantry staple to like culinary masterpiece.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So how do we do that? What's step 1 in transforming this canned
Canned delicacy.
canned delicacy?
Rinsing.
Rinsing.
Rinsing, really.
Yeah, that brine, it can be pretty strong. So give those abalones a good rinse, gets rid of the excess salt, and bonus, it helps the abalone really soak up all the amazing flavors you're going to add later.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So rinse first and then
It's
slicing.
Slicing.
Right. Got to get those perfect bite-sized pieces.
Absolutely. And slicing, it's not just about presentation, although that's a part of it, but it really helps with even cooking, better flavor absorption. You know, like you're creating these little pathways for the deliciousness to really get in there.
I like that, little pathways.
Yeah.
So the Teck blog mentions a super easy saute method. Just some garlic, a little ginger, your favorite sauce, and you're done.
It really is that versatile.
What?
But if you want to step it up a notch, try tenderizing the abalone first. You can do a quick marinade, soy sauce, and sesame oil. That works wonders. Then gently poach it in some simmering water. Oh, my goodness. Melt in your mouth texture. Pro tip. I'm writing that down. Speaking of pro tips, what about reheating? Any secrets to avoid that? You know, sometimes seafood can get a little rubbery when you reheat it.
Low and slow. That's the golden rule. Gentle poaching, maybe a quick saute over low heat. Just avoid that high heat at all costs, or you'll end up with abalone that's, well, more chew toy than delicacy.
Noted. No chew toys here. All right, so we've covered the basics, but now I want to get into some real recipes. And what better place to start than with a Chinese New Year classic? Canned abalone and fish maw soup.
Oh, yes. This soup, it is just brimming with symbolism and good fortune, perfect for, like, ringing in the new year.
Okay, bring it down for me. What makes this soup so special for the occasion? And what is fish maw, anyway?
So fish maw, it's actually the dried swim bladder of a fish.
The what?
Swim bladder, yeah. I know, it doesn't sound super appetizing.
No, not really.
But trust me, when it's prepared right, it's got this delicate, almost cloud-like texture. And in Chinese culture, it symbolizes abundance and prosperity.
Wow. So you're not just eating soup, you're practically eating good luck. And then you add the abalone on top of that.
Exactly. Because abalone is a symbol of good fortune and luxury. So it's like a double whammy of good vibes for the new year, you know? And this Teck recipe, it just beautifully combines these like symbolic ingredients. You've got your chicken or seafood broth, ginger for that warmth, goji berries for a touch of sweetness, and of course, those beautifully sliced pieces of chuanjiafu abalone.
Man, that's a lot of good stuff packed into one soup. That sounds, I don't know, kind of complicated to make.
Oh, no, you'd be surprised how simple it actually is.
Yeah.
You basically simmer everything together for about 30 minutes, season it with salt, thicken it up a bit with cornstarch slurry, and you're done. Who lose? And the blog actually suggests adding a splash of Shaoxing wine.
Fancy.
It adds a nice layer of depth and complexity.
Okay, so we got our celebratory soup down, but what about something a little bit more, you know, every day?
Well, Teck they got a recipe for a more casual abalone and mushroom soup that's perfect for any occasion.
Mushrooms and abalone, huh? That's an interesting combo. Tell me more.
It's all about comfort and nourishment. The recipe uses fresh or dried shiitake mushrooms.
Oh, nice.
They've got that wonderful earthy umami flavor that goes so well with the abalone.
Earthy and umami, 2 of my favorite words. What else is in this comforting concoction?
So you've got your chicken broth, but you could easily swap that for vegetable broth if you prefer. And then you can add your choice of protein. The blog suggests pork, but you could do chicken, tofu, even another type of seafood if you wanted to.
That's great. So adaptable. Walk me through how it all comes together.
Okay, so you start by soaking the dried mushrooms in warm water, rehydrate them. While that's happening, you saute some garlic and ginger in a little bit of oil just until they're fragrant. And then you add your protein of choice, cook it until it's nice and browned.
Okay, so far pretty standard soup base. When does the abalone come in?
You add the sliced abalone toward the end, just a few minutes before serving. That way it heats through, absorbs all the delicious flavors, but you don't overcook it.
Smart. Any final touches to really make this soup sing?
A simple garnish of chopped green onions adds a nice pop of freshness and color. Season to your liking with salt and pepper, and you can even add a little drizzle of sesame oil for a touch more richness.
I love how, even though we're talking about canned abalone, these recipes still feel so elegant.
That's the beauty of it, but we're just getting started.
Oh.
There are so many more techniques and surprises to uncover when it comes to canned abalone.
Well, for that, you'll have to join us for part 2 of this abalone adventure.
Welcome back. I hope you're ready for more abalone awesomeness because we're about to take things to a whole new level.
Oh, I am so ready. We've covered the basics, we've explored some delicious soups, but now I want to hear about those,
Advanced techniques.
yes, the advanced techniques you mentioned.
Okay, well, let's start with presentation. You know, it's amazing how a simple change in how you slice something can just elevate the whole dish.
Oh, for sure. Presentation is everything.
The blog talks about thin slices, for a more delicate texture, but you can also do like a diagonal cut, shows off the abalone's natural sheen. It's all about those visual details.
Yeah, I like that. It's like turning canned abalone into a work of art.
Exactly. And speaking of art, we can't forget about the sauce, right?
Of course not. What are some, unexpected flavor pairings that work well with abalone?
So your classics are always a good choice, like soy sauce, oyster sauce.
Right.
But then you can experiment. Sesame oil for a nutty richness, chili oil if you want a little spicy kick, or even, and this might sound a little weird, fish sauce.
Fish sauce. With abalone.
It might seem surprising, but that salty, savory, umami depth of fish sauce, it actually goes really well with the abalone. But here's where things get really interesting. You can actually fry canned abalone.
Wait, what? Fry it?
You heard right.
Like deep fry. I thought we were talking about a delicate ingredient.
Yeah, the blog talks about coating it in batter and frying it till it's crispy and golden brown. Crispy golden brown abalone, it's a total game changer.
Okay, my mind is blown. I never would have thought to fry canned abalone. It just shows you should never underestimate the power of, I don't know, a humble ingredient like that.
Exactly. Once you start thinking outside the can, the possibilities are endless. You can incorporate it into stir fries, congee, braised dishes, you name it. It just adds that little touch of luxury, that depth of flavor to any dish.
Okay, you're totally changing my perception of canned abalone here. We've talked about flavor, texture, cooking methods, but what about the nutritional side of things? Is canned abalone actually good for you?
It is. It's packed with protein, essential minerals like iron and selenium, and it's even got those heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids. Plus, it's low in fat, so you can indulge guilt-free.
Well, so it's not just delicious, it's nutritious too.
Yeah.
That's a win-win. But hold on, canned goods do have a shelf life, right? How long does canned abalone last?
Unopened, it can last for a surprisingly long time, like 3 to 5 years. Just make sure to store it in a cool, dry place. But once you open the can, best to use it within 2 to 3 days and keep it in the fridge.
Good to know. I'm already thinking about adding canned abalone to my grocery list and brainstorming all the different ways I can use it.
That's what we like to hear. I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Basic preparations, advanced techniques, even the nutritional benefits. It's amazing how much there is to learn about this seemingly simple ingredient.
I know, right? What really stands out to me is how much our perception of canned abalone has changed throughout this deep dive. We went from canned food to, culinary chameleon.
It's a testament to the power of knowledge, right?
Right.
And a little bit of creativity.
Absolutely. Sometimes all it takes is a fresh perspective, a little guidance to unlock the hidden potential of an ingredient.
So true. And speaking of guidance, we still have one more Teck blog article to explore.
Oh, yeah?
This one focuses on, it's another delicious abalone and mushroom soup, but it sounds perfect for a comforting weeknight meal.
Ooh, a weeknight meal. Sounds right up my alley.
It's a great example of taking those, basic techniques we've talked about and creating something simple and satisfying.
All right, let's do it. Hit me with those abalone insights. And we're back, ready to wrap up our abalone adventure with a recipe that's sure to warm you up from the inside out.
Absolutely. This one is a winner. A simple, satisfying abalone and mushroom soup, perfect for any night of the week.
I'm really starting to see canned abalone in a whole new light. Who knew it could be so versatile?
Right. It's all about those techniques and flavor combinations. So let's break down this soup. What kind of mushrooms are we using?
Well, you mentioned those earthy flavors earlier, so I'm hoping for something along those
You
lines.
got it. Dried shiitake mushrooms.
Mm.
Easy to find, and they have that incredible umami depth that pairs so well with abalone.
Oh, I'm already sold. What else goes into this magical soup?
Okay, so along with those rehydrated shiitakes, you'll need some garlic and ginger, for that warmth and complexity. And then your protein of choice. They suggest pork in the recipe, but you could easily do chicken, tofu, even another kind of seafood if you prefer. And of course, a good quality broth, either chicken or vegetable.
Okay, I'm picturing this flavorful broth simmering away on the stove. Walk me through the steps. How do we put it all together?
All right, so it's surprisingly simple. You start by soaking those dried mushrooms in some warm water, rehydrate them. While that's happening, saute some garlic and ginger in a little bit of oil just until they're fragrant. Then you add your protein, cook it until it's nice and browned.
Okay, so far, pretty standard soup base.
Exactly. Then you add those mushrooms, pour in your broth, bring it up to a boil, then reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 15-20 minutes. Let those flavors all meld together.
Sounds pretty hands-off so far. So when does the abalone make its grand entrance?
You're going to add those sliced abalones towards the end, just a few minutes before serving. That way it heats through, absorbs all that delicious flavor from the broth, but you don't overcook it.
Makes sense. Nobody wants a rubbery abalone.
Oh.
Any final touches to really elevate this soup?
The blog suggests a simple garnish of chopped green onions, adds a nice pop of freshness, some color, and of course season it to your liking with salt and pepper. You can also add a little drizzle of sesame oil if you want, just a little extra richness.
Simple yet elegant. I like it. I remember you mentioned the blog had a special, expert tip for this recipe. What was that again?
Oh, yeah. So the key to unlocking that truly incredible depth of flavor is marinating the pork or whatever protein you're using before you stir fry it. Just a simple mixture of cornstarch, soy sauce, and sherry. It tenderizes the meat and it just infuses it with this savory umami richness that elevates the whole soup.
That's a great tip. It's those little details that make all the difference. It's amazing how this simple abalone and mushroom soup really embodies so much of what we've talked about today.
I agree. It shows you how you can take something like canned abalone and, with a little technique and creativity, turn it into something truly special. It's about looking beyond those preconceived notions and really exploring what you can do with it.
Yeah, we went from thinking of canned abalone as this basic pantry staple to discovering its potential for these elegant presentations, bold flavor combinations, even those unexpected cooking methods like frying.
And not to mention, it's not just delicious, it's actually good for you too. Packed with protein, those essential minerals, and those heart-healthy fats.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that we shouldn't underestimate the power of, those so-called convenience foods. With a little knowledge and inspiration, we can transform them into something really special.
Absolutely. It's about looking beyond the label and seeing the potential in every ingredient.
Well said. So to all our listeners out there, I encourage you to embrace the versatility of canned abalone. Don't be afraid to experiment, try new flavor combinations, push those boundaries of what you thought was possible.
And most importantly, have fun with it. Cooking should be a joyful experience, a celebration of flavor and creativity.
I couldn't agree more. Well, that brings us to the end of our abalone adventure. We hope you've enjoyed this culinary journey as much as we have.
A huge thank you to Teck for sponsoring this episode and for providing us with such insightful and inspiring blog articles. Be sure to check out their website, especially if you're getting ready for Chinese New Year.
And to our listeners, until next time, happy cooking and happy eating.